400,000 wholesale. What's it retail? And 20 minutes in a conversation. Good morning, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut with Mike Kelly, and we're Real Estate Jerky Daily.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Let's see. You're not here tomorrow because you're at the Cantree. So we're going to do your numbers today versus tomorrow.
I got them up.
All right. Why don't we let you go first?
This is state of California. What's going on? Week ending. So this is just week's numbers. I'm going to show you week ending Pearl Harbor Day. There we go.
December 7th.
December 7th.
1941. Have you seen the new Midway movie? It was out a couple years ago.
No.
But it's not on. Yeah, no. It's actually pretty good.
Was it pretty good?
Yeah.
That was a war-turning battle.
A remake of the original Midway.
Yeah. 483 closed sales per day.
That's
week
down.
Ending December 7th. 416 pending sales. 517 new listings per day. That's up from
this is the state of California.
State of California. And look at that. About a quarter closed a sale, entered escrow, and listed a property.
So
and
1 in 4.
Yeah. And people are still a little optimistic. It's starting to grow a little bit. People are thinking prices are going to be up. I don't know why. That's not 100%. Sales will be up. That should be at least, let's just go off the top of my head. 40% should think sales will be up.
But they'd be lying. Yeah. Everything we're showing is going to be up 1.5%.
Exactly. Listings will be up.
Hello, John Cruz in Las Vegas.
John Cruz, is he?
Yeah, he's in Vegas.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he moved there,
I know.
All right. So those are the numbers, my friends.
All right.
People still have a positive outlook, but not as many.
No. And so I'm going to go over some numbers today.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, we have jobless claims, inflation data, some housing trends, and some title insurance and some other stuff we got. All right. So let's start with jobless claims. And initial jobless claims for this week came in at 242,000, an increase of 17,000 from the previous week revised figure of 225,000.
Yeah.
And this was higher than they expected of 220.
Wow.
So it was huge. People are like, wow, what's going on here? Continuing claims rose by 15,000 to 1.886 million, slightly above the estimate of 1.88 million.
Okay.
But if you look at overall the market this morning, it started at 9:30 and at 6:30 our time.
Right.
The Dow was up 37 points to 44,168, and the S&P was down 9 some points. And mortgage bonds were down 9 basis points, and now we're down about 5 basis points. And that's pretty good after that continuing claim stuff, because the producer price index came in also today, which is a measure of wholesale inflation, showed that the headline PPI number increased by 0.4%, above the expectations of 0.2, so we missed that number, but year over year headline PPI rose by 3%, up from 2.6%, and exceeded the 2.6% estimate. However, the core PPI, I'm going to get to all this, so I'm going to throw some numbers and then I'll get into it.
Cool.
The core PPI, excluding food and energy, increased by 0.2, in line with expectations. Year over year core PPI remained at 3.4%, slightly above the 3.2 estimate. There was a huge surprise in this report.
What was it?
The major surprise in the report was 31% rise in fruits and vegetables, the cost for them.
Wow.
It contributed to 1/10 of the overall PPI increase. Additionally, there was a 55% rise in chicken eggs, which also added another 1/10 to the overall inflation read. So combine those two items.
Yeah.
If they would taken out, because they accounted for half of the monthly increase. Without these spikes, the inflation data would have been in line with estimates. I want to know what happened with chicken eggs. Why they're so expensive.
Did they go on strike?
They probably not feed them well.
There was
they had their union came in and said, well, unless we get this, we're not going to start laying eggs. Yeah.
There was an issue shortly after COVID. I believe there was a feed that was retarding the chicken's ability to lay eggs, and there was this big, conspiracy theory. And I guess they
to drive the prices of eggs up.
Right, drive the prices of eggs up, and they stopped feeding them that feed, and they start laying again. I wonder if they're back to that old feed.
And they gave that to humans now.
Yeah. So my third leg is actually starting to look pretty good.
Yeah. All right. The Community Home Lenders of America, CHLA, is pushing the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to crack down on trigger leads. Finally, somebody gets somebody.
Man.
They've been trying to pass this thing in Congress for a while, but it keeps getting taken out. These leads result in surge of unsolicited calls and texts from someone who applies for a mortgage, and it's a hard pull. I had a guy the other day, 50 calls in 20 minutes.
That's crazy.
And
I can't imagine why you would take something like that out of a bill.
Because they
think it's
must be getting
unimportant.
There must be a lobbyist out there for this, because they sell those leads. You think about it. It's the 3 bureaus. They sell those trigger leads to people. That's a huge money making opportunity. So they probably thrown some money at some stuff and said, hey, keep this going.
You know how you get this fixed? You have a lobbyist that is lobbying for this, and you have them do a refi, and you do a hard pull and let them deal with the calls 50 and 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, you make sure you don't put their phone numbers in, but the right phone numbers in.
Right.
And then when you do the email, you write like I do. Go get your effing own lead at bmail.com and other shit like that.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, this provision was taken out of the ban trick because they were trying to do this one, and they had it in the National Defense Authorization Act just recently, and it was taken out. So now they're calling for this organization's calling for action with the incoming Trump administration, saying we need to get this taken care of.
Yeah. And something may happen.
We hope.
We
need it gone. It's ridiculous. Go get your own lead. Stop buying those things.
Yeah.
But it must be making money because they sell them and people get it. And, if you take the phone numbers out and you take the emails, you can't take them out because you usually have to have it in certain software. We'll just type it in wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but there is a title insurance. Fannie Mae has a title insurance waiver program. I've been using it a lot on a lot of my refis. It just makes it so much cheaper. It's called Track.
Okay.
And it's Fannie Mae pilot program waiving lender title insurance on certain refinances is saving borrowers up to $1,500. Supporters say that reduced costs and boost refinancing. Critics are saying that the American Land Title Association worry about the market risk. Well, you already own the home.
Right.
And you're just redoing the loan that's already on there.
And you got title insurance when you bought it.
Right. Correct. So, I mean, I'm doing these refinances where the overall cost for title and escrows and all the little associated fees, including recording and all that stuff, is like $1,850.
That's
and if you're doing it,
that's inexpensive.
Yeah. And if you're doing it right, you can actually absorb those costs in the refinance to where the borrower doesn't pay for those. So you're doing a refinance just for their impound account, or if they don't have an impound account, you're just redoing the loan at the same number plus interest.
Okay.
So it saves a lot of money, and I don't think they should be paying these arm and leg fees for the
Alta policy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Lender policy, all that stuff. Yeah.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it just helped out, drastically. And the other thing with that is, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of the refis that we're doing, we can do virtual closings on. However, we cannot use a notary from California
because they're not
they're not allowed to do it until 2030.
Oh, why wait?
That's just the way the state is. Let's do all this other stuff, but let's make it so what's happening is, unfortunately, it's taking that money out of California's notaries. And that's pretty sad, because I was wondering why every notary was from Reno, Nevada, Tech, other places, and that I found out why, because I talked to an agent the other day. I should say a notary the other day about it.
Yeah, and they can do it in Reno.
Well, they can do it outside of California. Yeah. So, but for California refinances, they have to hire the person from out of state because the California notaries can't do it. It's illegal for them to do it.
And guys, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, I'll meet you in Reno.
You can't.
Your property is still in California.
Yeah, but they're virtually, so they meet them anyway. But they just need to get that passed faster for California and get it changed. It
sounds like a little rewrite, a modification would be kind of cool.
And I said, well, why don't you go get your notary license in another state? And they go, you can't do that.
Yeah.
All right. HUD reported that on senior houses challenges. I just got a little bit of everything today, so bear with me here.
I'm bearing.
HUD's latest report highlights financial struggles of older Americans. Did you know 70% of seniors will need long-term care, costing about $67,000 annually? That's 70% of them. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And only 24% of them, of that 70%, can afford both long-term care and housing costs.
Yeah, we just live too long.
Yeah, home ownership helps preserve wealth, but it's hard for people to keep going on it. So I see a lot more reverse mortgages happening and a lot of other stuff happening just because of that situation where we are living a lot longer than normal.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
All right. What else do I have? They're talking about bringing Fannie and Freddie out of
conservatorship.
Yep. Did you know they've been in conservatorship for 16 years?
It doesn't seem that long, but yeah.
Yeah. It was around 2008, 2010 that they, when
during
the whole
the big
thing fell.
flop.
Yeah. And so they're thinking about They want to get them out under the Trump administration. The problem will be once they do that, the credit rating of Fannie and Freddie will go down. Will go from AAA to AA2, which is not as good because it's all newer, and so that will result in higher spreads on conventional mortgages and but it will increase the competition from large banks and stuff like that. So overall, it should help out. The mortgage market may shift with jumbo loans and private lenders gaining ground. That's just the whole thing. They don't know how it's going to happen, but I think we should take them out of conservatorship so that they're not owned by the government still.
Sounds like a plan. It really does.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay. I have some other news, but I don't think you want to know about it.
Why?
So there had there's top real estate website designs of 2025 for our local real estate people. Make sure you have local inspiration, highlight community features. There was one out there called like the village properties, hyper local branding. You want to have on there accessibility, video content, and then seller tools. This is different because a lot of people have a website, but they don't get into this kind of stuff. You guys have separate websites, but they're not as good as some of these local, but they're saying go hyper local, get more niche down on what you do on everything you do.
Yeah, we have more nationally based websites that are kind of just
that's
generic.
Yours should be local about what you do about probate and everything else, and the additional stuff because you want to talk to the people because if you didn't have probate, you'd be hurting this during this period of time. And I don't mean that wrong. It's just you have a niche that's really good and you do well at it. The other thing is there's a huge thing about online real estate schools popping up and who to use and all this. I think they think the real estate market's going to take off if they're trying to get everybody licensed again.
I spent an hour conversation last night with a buddy of mine. Well, actually, a buddy of mine referred a guy to me who's thinking about getting into real estate. We spoke for absolutely an hour talking about different types of schools, different ways of going about it, what his expectations can be. Of course, you can't really say, oh, you're going to make money in the first 3 months or 2 months. It all depends on you. But it was an interesting conversation, and I'm hearing more and more people saying, I'm going to get my real estate license.
As more and more people, only 0 to 1 did a transaction. 74% of realtors, agents did 0 to 1% of the transactions, or 0 to 1, I should say, no percent. And you want to come into real estate.
And you want to get into real estate.
Yeah.
But it's, you know what, I got in during a horrible time, and I had no background in sales whatsoever or in facilitating sales whatsoever. And I just put my nose to the grindstone and made it work.
I mean,
because there's 35 years later.
I have 6 different online shops that was part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And there was the CE shop that said it was best for the features and dashboards. They start at $139. Cobri, COLIBRI real estate, best for goal tracking. That's at $141. You're looking at Aceable agent. I wonder if that just teaches how to pass the test really well. Best for mobile learning. They start at $199. There's Online Ed. That's the name of the company. Budget friendly, starting at $119. Kaplan, Kaplan, Kaplan. Best exam prep. They start at almost $400, $399. Real Estate U, best for auditory learners, starting at $149. Because you got like 135 hours of coursework to qualify for the California real estate exam,
and then
that's a lot more than when I started.
Yeah, most of those schools offer a exam prep, and it depends on what plan you get. I was looking at the CE shop last night, talking with this guy, and it actually, through CVAR, you go through their website, then you go to CE shop, and the least expensive course of the 135 hours was $109, but it didn't guarantee that you pass, meaning if you have to take the course again, they'll refund you your exam fee to the next time.
Yeah. The reason I brought up these 2 last things is because we talk to a lot of agents out here, and I'm just like, there's some information that we should be giving them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. One bit of information, a buddy of mine, he had a little tiny reel yesterday that he did, and he talked about real estate agents. When you sell a property and you schedule inspections, I've talked about this a million times.
Brian?
Yeah. Brian brought it up again, but I've talked about this a million times. Part of your job is to go to those inspections, and you stay there the entire time the inspectors are there. You don't want to hear from the seller, hey, my Rolex that given to me by my grandfather is missing, stuff like that. You don't want to say they left the heat on at 87 degrees when we got home, and you could cook a turkey in here. You don't want to hear those things. So do your job and go, period. End of conversation.
All right. So you be at your inspections is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I bored you.
No, you didn't bore me. I'm just reiterating what you said so people understand.
It was boring.
No, it's not. If you're not there, you don't know if they really did it.
Well, if you're not there, you don't really get to. You really should have your clients come if they can at the very, very end.
The very end.
Very end, not while they're there. You want them to do less talky, more inspecty. But you really want your clients to go over it with them because it makes more sense in person than it does reading a report.
Correct.
Reading a report, it can sound like, oh my God, this place is falling apart. And then talking to the guy, you're like, oh, well, that's not a big deal.
Yeah. So I just want to, as we go into 2025, stay informed.
Yeah.
And adaptable is the key navigating this real estate market and mortgage markets, because if you're not adaptable, if you can't swing with it, because one thing I always say in this mortgage industry is if you don't like today, don't worry, tomorrow's going to be worse.
Different. Yeah.
Not different, worse.
Habitable. Yeah. I mean, and different. Yeah. It's a worse different. And, I always say in real estate, when you think you've seen everything, something will pop up and just blow your mind. Right. So stay loose like a goose.
And if you don't have some mastermind you're part of or a coach or whatever, get one because you need it. And if you don't want to have that expense, then start your own with a bunch of top agents, other people in your office or other offices, and talk about what you do and meet with other people.
Meet twice a month, put a little coffee clutch together and just pick brains.
Yeah. Cause I had a bunch of mortgage guys that we got connected in 2006, and we would meet once a month, and we did it for almost 10 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then one retired, the other one did other things, got more in real estate and stuff like that. So
one of them bit the dust.
No, just retired.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I have for today.
Me too.
All right. Make it a great day. And I will be back here tomorrow. I don't know what I'll be talking about because supposedly there's no economic news.
Well, and maybe I'll see you at Modesto Council's Christmas Cantree. It's at the Catholic Church on the corner of Briggsmore and Lancey. Starting at 7:00. I'll be there pouring Bloody Marys.
All right. What time does that start?
7 a.m. Actually, it starts at 7:30, but I'll be there to set up and
how long does it last?
It usually lasts about an hour. There's going to be a breakfast. There's an auction. There's a silent auction. There's a raffle auction. It's not really an auction. It's a raffle. And a lot of stuff.
All right.
And a lot of frivolity.
All right. Well, enjoy. And we'll be back tomorrow. Or at least I will be. All right. Bye.
Bye.